Hi there, I'm Jennifer and I'm here with the cameraman and we're in the kitchen today. We are doing a Minds in Motion on-demand activity. We are making something that is going to be simple to assemble, not a lot of ingredients, and it's going to be useful when you're done. You're not going to be able to eat it, but if you're a bird, you're definitely going to enjoy it. So what we're making today is a wild bird seed feeder. Here's one that I made a little bit earlier. And when you're done, you can hang this in your tree, and it's an opportunity to give the birds something to eat in the winter. And it's also an opportunity for you to watch them feeding on them when you hang it outside your window. All right, so feel free to make these with me if you've got the ingredients on hand, or maybe just join us watching this video and perhaps you'll be inspired to make these on your own at some point. It's up to you. Either way is just fine. So let's get started, and I'm gonna start here by showing you what you're gonna need. Ingredients: 3/4 of a cup warm water, 1 pouch of gelatin, 3 tablespoons of honey, 3/4 of a cup flour, 4 cups of wild bird seed. Equipment: you'll need a tray, wax paper, cooking spray, whisk, assorted molds, spatula, large mixing bowl, and some twine. Okay, now that you've gathered your ingredients, we're going to prepare some of your tools a little bit. I suggested that you have some kind of a cookie sheet or a tray, and that's what you're going to put the bird feeder molds on when you leave them to dry. And I would suggest protecting them, putting down maybe a sheet of wax paper here so that they are not going to stick. You could also use parchment paper. Cameraman, this is something that I learned. Do you know the difference between parchment paper and wax paper? Maybe some of you don't know this as well out there. What do you think, Cameron? Well, what's the difference?
Cost?
Cost, yes, definitely. Parchment paper does tend to be a little bit more expensive. It actually has to do with the coating. So wax paper has a paraffin wax coating, so therefore good for moisture, whereas parchment paper has silicone coating, so it's heat resistant and you can put it in the oven. So for our purposes, wax paper is going to be just fine. You've got a selection of molds, so check out your kitchen, see what you've got. I've got a variety of cookie cutters here that I think will work well. Maybe thicker would be a little bit better. I've got some lids here from some jars. This is actually a large mason jar lid, so you've got the removable insert, which is helpful for pushing it out. And in this one, you could actually make it like a wreath. You could put a little bit of a hole in the middle, then you could put a string through it. And then of course I've got, this is actually a muffin cup that's shaped like a heart, and I think this would work quite well as well to use. So you wanna prepare all of your cookie cutters that you're gonna use, or your molds, and also your tray by putting a little bit of cooking spray on it, and that'll help with the sticking so that when you remove them, they'll come out nicely, and also they'll come off the tray here. They won't. There we go. I'm just going to spray a little bit on the tray, and then I'm going to suggest that you put a little bit on the inside here of whatever you're using for your molds. Okay. All right, there you go. What is a covering of birds' feathers called? Is it A, down, B, plumage, or C, gorget? The answer is B, plumage. Down is the silky feathers found underneath the tougher exterior feathers, and gorget is a patch of colored feathers found on the throat or breast of some bird species. Okay, the next thing that you're going to want to do is to dissolve your gelatin in some warm water. So when you purchase your gelatin, a package like this, it usually has several individual pouches inside of it. So you're going to want to take one of these, and then you're going to want to put it into probably a glass measuring cup like this with some warm water. In this case, you want about a half a cup. So I'm actually going to use a kettle here that I've already warmed up to about 30 to 40 degrees. And I'm going to pour about a half a cup here into my glass measuring cup. You could get your warm water by microwaving the water a little bit. You could do the stovetop method. Either will work. You could even get your tap up to fairly warm temperature and just take it directly from the tap. All right, so I'm going to open up my gelatin and then I'm going to pour it in. So gelatin, actually here's a question for you, cameraman. What is gelatin?
I think it comes from bones?
Bones and connective tissues of animals. So it's actually collagen, and it gets boiled down and dehydrated. So once you pour it into your water and then you're going to start to stir it, I would recommend that you use a whisk. A whisk is a really great tool. I'm going to show you that again for incorporating sort of a powdered mixture into a liquid. And then as you stir it around, what actually is happening is you're making the gelatin bloom. So I didn't know that. So we are blooming the gelatin, and basically it's becoming reconstituted and thickening up, and just keep stirring it until it's all dissolved, and it's going to sort of end up being like the consistency of applesauce. All right. And again, you don't have to be 100% here with your water measurement or your temperature, and your gelatin, of course, comes in a pre-packaged container. So you're just using one of the envelopes and then stirring till it thickens. Which bird has the largest eyes of any land animal? Is it A, owl, B, falcon, or C, ostrich? What do you think? The answer is C, ostrich. Okay, now that you've dissolved or you've bloomed your gelatin and it's starting to get kind of thick, you're going to add a few more ingredients to this mixture. So we're going to start with something sweet. So a little bit of honey, which is safe for birds. They like it. They're going to be drawn to your feeder with this. It's just also going to thicken up the mixture even more and bring everything together and hold it all together. So just a little bit of a tip here. It's 3 tablespoons of honey so that it won't stick to your tablespoon measure. Spray it with a little bit of cooking spray and then it should slide off. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to the side. I'm going to open up my honey here and I'm just going to measure out 3 tablespoons. Let's see if this slides off for us. Yeah, well, I know you can't really see it that well, but trust me, it's sliding better than it would if we hadn't sprayed it. There's 2. Come on. All right, and then 1 more. Just to sweeten this whole mixture up, make it a little bit thicker. I'm just going to let that come off. I'm going to put our honey back down here, and then I'm just going to use my whisk to get some of that extra honey off and then give it a little bit of a stir. And then we've got one more thing to add to this. You can see I've got a little glass container here of flour. Just regular flour is all that you need, all-purpose flour. And it's 3/4 of a cup of flour that's going to get added to this. I just have a cup measure here. I'm going to kind of wing it. I'm going to fill it up about 3/4 full. I don't think you have to be all that exact. So I'm just going to give it a little shake. Roughly look that my mixture is about 3/4 full, just like that. And then I'm going to start to add that to the gelatin mixture using my whisk. I'm going to give it a little stir here to combine everything together. Kind of like you're making gravy, right? When you have to stir the flour into the juices. A whisk is a great tool for that, and it's kind of like what we're doing here. Just combining everything, thickening this mixture. I'll keep going, a little bit more, and then last little bit. Okay, so you've got this sticky mixture here of your gelatin, your flour, and your honey. We're just gonna put that to the side for a few minutes, and then we're gonna get a nice big bowl. I've got a nice glass bowl here, and we're gonna add 4 cups of wild bird seed. So you can see what I've got here. Wild bird seed, because of course it's gonna bring the wild birds. I just picked this up at a department store. I believe that grocery stores often carry it. Okay, so I'm just gonna scoop it out 4 cups, and you can see a nice variety here of seeds. Cameraman, what do you think is the most popular seed that's gonna draw the largest variety of birds?
Caraway.
Any thoughts? Caraway, yes, caraway, good old caraway. No, not caraway, actually. I've got some of them right in here, not caraway seeds, but sunflower seeds, yes. Sunflower seeds, most wild bird seed will have sunflower seeds in it because a large variety of birds really like it. So yes, they have preferences. Different birds like different types of seeds. All right, so a wide or a variety of seed in wild bird seed mix is gonna get you probably the biggest variety of birds coming in. So there's 4 cups in my bowl here, and now I'm gonna take this sort of sticky mixture and start to pour it in here. I would suggest having a spatula close by, so here's my spatula, and just start to scrape down the sides of the bowls to combine this. It will be sticky, but that's kind of the fun part, especially once we start to put it into the molds. You're really going to notice the stickiness. Okay, so I've just started to combine that. Now I'm going to come back and pour a little bit more in. Excellent here. All right, and just scrape it down using the spatula. It actually doesn't smell so bad. I think I'd go for this if I was a bird. All right, here we go. A couple of more turns, a little bit more of the mixture, and then I think we're good. Okay, just gonna keep scraping it down, combining it really well here, making sure that all the bird seed is coated. Nice. Okay, excellent. All right, now we're ready to fill our molds. Name the only bird that can fly backwards. Is it A, a hummingbird, B, kookaburra, or C, parrot? The answer is A, hummingbird. Now the sticky part, where you want to take this mixture and start to press it into your mold. So what I recommend that you do is have, a good sized spoon handy, have a wet cloth, because inevitably your fingers are going to get into it. You can use your fingers all you want, but it is going to be sticky. Have your string cut and handy, because I'm going to show you how to sort of embed it into it. So, you're talking about maybe a little over a foot, give or take. A little bit more is probably better to tie it. I've got my tray, I've got everything, my molds, my cookie cutters that I've pulled aside here, my lids, etc. I've got everything ready and sprayed with cooking oil. Now I'm going to take my mixture, and what I recommend that you do is just start to fill it up about halfway. So I'm starting just over here, kind of pressing it down as you go. You want to make sure it's nice and compacted, but just really starting with about a halfway fill. And then what I suggest you do is to take your string or your twine. Okay, here I've just got some sort of natural twine here that I had around the house, which I think is going to work perfectly here. And I would suggest taking the rounded end here, leaving sort of the cut end sticking out, and just kind of lay it into the center here. And then you're just going to put a little bit of that birdseed on top, almost like you're sticking it down or gluing it down, okay? And then you're gonna start to fill the rest of it on top here, taking it right up to the tops, pressing it as you go, okay? Just like that. Okay, making sure that you're pressing it down, pressing it right out to the edges. If it's nice and compacted, once it dries, it's really gonna hold together nicely, okay? and then just keep going, keep working. It doesn't dry that quickly, so you've got time here to fill up all of your molds until you don't have any more of the seed left. What do you call a group of cranes? A sedge? A mob? A throng? Or a pomp? The answer, a sedge. So once you've used up all of your sticky wild birdseed mixture and pressed it into your cookie cutters or your molds, you just want to take that tray and put it in a cool, dark place and just let it dry out. At least overnight, maybe a little bit longer. A couple of days I don't think is a bad idea, and then you'll feel it once it's dry. All right, now it's time for the fun part where you're going to take the bird feeder and remove it carefully from the mold. So you've let this sit to dry overnight, maybe a little bit longer. I'll be honest, these have been sitting out for quite a few days and they're nice and firm, so I think maybe a little bit longer than one night is a better way to go. I would suggest that you have a little paring knife handy. You have put some cooking spray inside the mold, which will also help, but this will just sort of loosen it up a little bit. And then just carefully run that paring knife just around the inside of the mold, and you're going to notice when it starts to loosen up, and then you can just gently pull it out. And as you take it out, you can see it's nice and compact, nice and solid. Your string is, again, nice and strong. It's embedded right into the mold, and it's all ready to hang in your tree. You see we've got a variety here. We've got this one here, a star shape. I've also got this one that you can actually put a little string through it like a little wreath. So lots of varieties. I would suggest that you choose a location in a tree that's a little higher up so that cats can't bother the birds when they're feeding, maybe further out on the branch, just in case, again, squirrels are interested. They're not going to go further out on the branch. And of course, most importantly, put it somewhere where you can see it from your window, and then you can watch all the fun as the birds enjoy this lovely treat that you've made for them. So I do hope that you've enjoyed this program today. I hope that you will take the time to try this project at home. Really, very few ingredients involved, very simple to make, and again, then it will provide both a treat for your feathered friends and also something for you to watch. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today. If you can hang around for just a little bit longer, we put our bird feeders out in our backyard and captured it on film, so you can enjoy that and also listen for some of the bird sounds that you're going to hear in the background and see if you can figure out, identify which birds those are. All right, thank you again and take care. See you soon. Bye. Welcome to our backyard. I hope you enjoy watching this cute little bird who seems delighted to have found the feeders. If you happen to know what type of bird this is, please feel free to share below because we're not too sure. Now I'd like you to listen and enjoy the following 7 bird sounds and see if you can identify them. You really need to listen carefully as none of them are pictured in this video. Okay, here they are one more time with the answers. If you are living in the Waterloo, Wellington area and would like to participate in our ongoing virtual or in-person Minds in Motion program, or interested in any other programs or services, the Alzheimer's Society would love to hear from you. Please feel free to contact us through any of the offices listed on the screen. Thank you for joining us today.